Alright, Cody here with my UFC 104 predictions. We're going to do the undercard real fast. Let's get to it. I'm going to pick Chase Gormley. Gormley? It's a weird last name. I think he beat Stefan Struve. Razak Al Hassan. That's going to be a close one, but I'm picking him because I think his stuff is more refined than Kyle Kingsbury's. But Kyle Kingsbury, he is huge for a 205er. That guy is like 6'4". He is huge. So, I mean, it's hard to pick against the size, but I think Razak is more refined. George Rivera, or Jorge Rivera. I think his name is Jorge, but, you know, it looks like George. But, yeah, love the guy. Glad to see him back in action. I think he could beat Kimmins. And I'm going to pick Yushin Okami over Chael Sonnen. That should be... I mean, if it's anything like Okami's previous fights, it should be a really boring fight. And I understand why it's on the undercard. I mean, it's hard to market a fight like that. When it comes to marketing, when it comes to people who love the pure fighting, you know, they really want to see who wins maybe over being entertained. And it makes an interesting problem because you just can't market that guy like you should because of his wins. He's got some wins. Alright, this is a cool little thing. They're doing that thing where they're going to show some fights on Spike TV again, which I love that. I love that. So, Ryan Bader versus Eric Schaefer. That's a good match for, I think, Bader. I think Bader takes it, but that's a tough opponent. Eric has shown he's a pretty good guy. I mean, he's not a walkover, so this isn't a guy you're just going to have your way with and finish. Although Bader could. He could potentially just run over him. And Patrick Berry versus Anthony Hardonk. That's another really good fight to show on free TV to get people pumped because that seems like it's going to be a stand-up war. Both of these guys, strikers in the heavyweight division. Pat Berry's only 5'11", and Anthony's a big old mid-range 6 foot. I can't remember exact height, but I'm picking Pat Berry, but I almost want to pick Anthony Hardonk because I think he has more with the submissions and everything, but I'm going with Berry. Let's go with Berry. Little firecracker. Alright, now to the main card. We got Anthony Johnson versus Yoshiyuki Yoshida. And, yeah, I think Anthony Johnson takes this. He's really making a really good claim to, like, hey, before GSP goes along and does a bunch of super fights, maybe I could get a crack at the title. Because he's got a good streak going, and he's doing some wins. He's getting some wins. So, I mean, after this, you give him a really good fight, a really, I don't know, like a cost check or something, and see if he can get over that hump and, you know, be propelled into the stratosphere to fight GSP. You could actually probably hype that. So, really, two big welterweights going at it. That'd be interesting. But if he wins here, of course, Yoshida's no walk to the park either. But I think Anthony takes it. Anthony's just, that guy's huge. I think he walks around at like 220. Just crazy for a welterweight. It may be a bunch of internet hoopla, but he looks huge. Alright, Spencer Fisher versus Joe Stevenson. That's a real tough one to call. Oh man, that's a tough one to call. I don't like Joe Stevenson as much as I used to. I think he's a bit one-dimensional with the striking, but he has a good submission game, and he's all around a pretty good guy, you know, and tough as nails, and has good stamina and all that stuff. But Fisher's so damn scrappy. I love Fisher's scrappiness, so that's why I'm going to go with Spencer Fisher. It's almost like, though, it seems like everything's dead even, but I'm just pulling for the guy I like a little bit more. Josh Nair versus Gleison Tibau? Is it Tibau? I think it's Tibau. Yeah. That's a weird fight because Tibau is built like a little tank and Josh Nair's lanky as hell, but he uses his reach good. He just reminds me of a Diaz. He looks like he's, you know, just a Diaz. He's lanky as hell, but he has good subs and he has pretty decent boxing. And Tibau is a little powerhouse, but he's had trouble in the past, but he's made some close fights out of some fights. But he lost to Melvin Gillard, which should always be considered. And Nair has a win over Gillard, which is a really good fight. So, I don't know, I'm going to go with Nair. Why the hell not? I like Nair. even with his, I think he had a DUI, was that it? Kept him out of fighting for a while or something like that. He got into some trouble, but hopefully he comes back strong. Ben Rothwell versus Cain Velasquez. I'm going with Cain there. Rothwell's really hit the interview circuit and done a lot of radio shows and stuff. And I mean, that's good. I mean, it's good to promote this fight. And if he thinks he can win, that's good for him. But I think Cain takes this. I just think Cain has too much over him. It's more about the youth. It's almost like a changing of the guard where you have one guy who's kind of, the fight game's kind of passed him by, and then you got Cain who's just coming up. You know, he's just there on the cusp of something big. And I think Cain takes it. Yeah. Then we got the 205 champ, Lyoto Machida versus Shogun for the lightweight heavyweight title. Ooh. It's a real interesting fight. You know, Joe Rogan, after that win against Rashad, he said, you know, this is now the Machida era. Welcome to the Machida era. And that's a real interesting statement because it's going to be scary, kind of, because if Machida does what he's been doing, I don't see how many more opponents they can work up for him. We're really at the point where coming up to get the title, Machida took out a lot of guys. And then, I mean, you don't have any guys with really solid wins that haven't fought him. So it's hard here. They're in a tough spot. And then you got Shogun. I mean, I don't think Shogun will win. I see Machida winning. I predict Machida. But, I mean, for the betterment of the division, I almost wish Shogun would win. So, you know, you could build up different fights, you know, and you got a lot of people that Shogun hasn't faced, and you could, you know, do more interesting, unique bouts with that. It will be a Machida era, and I fear that it'll just get stale after a while. Although I like watching Machida. Machida's a great fighter, but, I mean, look what Anderson Silva's done to 185. It's not competitive anymore. You know, it's like, well, who's going to be the next victim? And that's fun. I mean, I think it's fun if you're really, really into the guy that's the champion, because you're able to say, well, look at my guy. He's winning all these fights. But I like when it gets mixed up. That's just me. I like when it's fresh, and I like when a lot of people are at the same level fighting each other. So I wouldn't hate it if Shogun won, but I wouldn't mind. I mean, Machida's such a nice guy, and I like him. And if he's probably going to win, I think. But overall, that may hurt the 205 division. And you may see guys see if they could go to 185 or heavyweight as a result. Because I don't think, if Machida is really good enough to beat Shogun, as I think he is, and after that, he could probably beat everybody. Machida, gosh, what an enigma that guy is. Crazy, crazy stuff. And I enjoy Machida. I like Machida. But I like watching closer fights even better than I like Machida. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.